Hi, everybody. Welcome to Conversations with Calvin, We the Species. It's October 11th, and this is just a continuing program that we have with Climate Optimists, of which I'm a member of this group. And the screen is filled with other members of this group. We're going to introduce themselves shortly. The group has a great short history, as I've met environmentalists and conservationists a couple of months ago, as my job as a journalist doing that. And then all of a sudden you wake up one morning and you realize you've got conservationists and environmentalists all over the globe that I've been fortunate enough to interview. And then the thought, well, I suggested, why don't we all kind of just chat one day? And we did. And that's kind of how Climate Optimist Group was born. We call ourselves Climate Optimists because we're trying to find some positivity. That's a hard thing to do, but it's an important thing to do, to be positive. And here's the mission, and then we'll just kind of introduce. I wrote this with input from everybody. Our mission is a work in progress and evolution. Climate Optimists. The mission of Climate Optimists is diverse education in climate change. That's important. We all viewpoints. We all have one. There's one overriding motive: climate change, and to make things better, especially for future generations. So diverse education and climate change, and we look for ways to teach the children. And I borrowed that from a '60s song. Jail is kind of smiling. Crosby, Stills and Nash. I love that song. So we're looking for ways to teach the children and Gen Z and Gen X and millennials and baby boomers and seniors. And if you do go to Conversations with Calvin, We the Species, that's a venue where these videos appear. Not only there, but wherever else they wind up. So without further ado, I want to introduce CARLA Smith, who's on the top left. Take it away, CARLA. And CARLA's been.
Thank you. And thanks for the opportunity, Calvin. My name is CARLA Smith. As Calvin says, I am an administrative assistant by profession. I grew up on the Caribbean island of Jamaica and have always been an advocate for the underserved with special emphasis on our youth. Service organizations that I've been passionately involved with are the Lions Club, the Kiwanis Club, Girl Scouts, and also court-appointed special advocates, to name a few. I am proud to say that I was a part of the high school mental health program, special emphasis on providing support for the youth during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic. I'm also honored to be a part of the Climate Optimist Group, and I'm passionate about protecting present and future clean spaces for all of us, especially our future generation. I am excited about engaging and re-engaging the community on the urgency of protecting and securing the planet from human actions. Currently, I am in the planning stage of coordinating a TikTok competition, because I think in order to reach the youth, we have to meet them where they are, and the TikTok is their world. So I am going to be having a TikTok competition with primary, middle, and high school students to educate and bring urgent awareness to people, especially the youth. We have one Earth, and if this is what I'm going to leave with everyone: save the Earth is everyone's job. Thank you so much.
Thank you, CARLA. Thank you. TikTok, huge. I'm actually having a meeting on Wednesday, a live meeting to talk about TikTok, finding ways to crack that world. I don't process how the things that we talk about here, and the interviews, et cetera, and there they can have, you know, somebody dancing for 30 seconds and get 400,000 views, and we're talking about life. Anyway, moving on to JL Torres, whom I met 6 weeks ago and just interviewed. Take it away, JL.
Yeah, JL Torres. I've been a professor for 40 years, or I was. I just retired recently, professor of English, and I'm also a writer. I'm glad to be part of this group, quite frankly, and when Calvin told me a little bit about it, now that I'm retired and I have a little bit more time on my hands, I would like to be more active and involved in this issue that I think we all are aware is existential. I mean, there's no doubt about it. And I like the name Climate Optimist because it's very easy to see how dire the situation and be pessimistic. But we're not going to get out of this problem, right, by being pessimistic. So we really need to, educate. Which, being a past educator, I feel happy to be part of a group that's trying to educate and disseminate information to people so they can really know what's going on. I really seriously, it's mind-boggling to me that some people still don't understand how serious this problem is. So that we can be part of that. Educating people and reaching out to them and making them understand that we all have to take action, because that's the other thing I get frustrated. One of the things you mentioned earlier, Calvin, in your email was about what moved us. And I couldn't figure out what exactly. There's so many emotions with this issue, right? Because, and I'm sure all of you, I mean, we're fearful. It's a, real situation that is scary. On top of that, we're frustrated and we're angry because our government in particular does little or nothing at all, enough to deal with this. And there's so much inertia on this issue when we know it's so, it's such a crucial issue. So, it's a range of emotions. I mean, personally, I come from Puerto Rico and we're, it's an archipelago of islands, and Carla would know this, being from Jamaica, islands, we're surrounded by water. I mean, the water rising is not a good thing for us. I mean, the Maldives right now are really looking at really like maybe the end of the Maldives, right? So that concerns me, that the potential famine and water shortages. This is a real apocalyptic situation that we need to address. And as the rest of you, I want to be a part of that. Because I have two sons, and I think about them, and whenever, we're dumping that on them, no, we can't. As a boomer, Calvin and I agree, we need to do something. For a little time that I have on this earth, I need to work on helping out in any way I can. So I'm very happy to be part of this group, and thank you so much, Calvin, for inviting me to join.
Thank you. It's part of it's part of the universality and connectivity that I experience, and how, hey, all of us. But I'll say it on air. I'm always proud to say this. Everything that has happened to me in the past year started with Carla's daughter, Claudine. I mean, I'll say it on air, and I think it's really important. It was August 2020 when I just learned how to Zoom. And I connected with Claudine on LinkedIn, and we messaged a little bit, and she seemed she was a sophomore, a track star at Rutgers. And I was just so intrigued that I said to Claudine, how about if we talk on a phone? And we talked on the phone just about stuff in Rutgers and track. And then a week later, my daughter-in-law was here. She's a social media person. And I yelled, she's here now, actually. And I yelled in the kitchen, what is this thing called Zoom? And she laughed. And she came in, she just hooked me up with Zoom. And then I contacted Claudine, Carla's daughter, and I said, hey, how about if we Zoom? And while we were Zooming, the light bulb went off because Claudine was so eloquent and interesting and fascinating. and so unstereotypical of a college student. She was so grounded. And I thought, well, why don't I find people like this to interview? And I never have to get out of this chair, which is kind of worn out. What a wonderful thing. It keeps me busy. It keeps me away from, going running to the kitchen all day. And that's how this was all born. Claudine was the first person I interviewed, and it kind of evolved. And just like this climate group evolved, and just like I met Janice Diener, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 weeks ago, and boom, 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 and connectivity. And she's an editor, and I'm finishing a novel, and it all kind of. So Janice, say hello.
Hi, I'm Janice Diener, and I came into an interest in the climate about 20 years ago when I read the book, The Song of the Dodo. Did anyone ever read that by David Quammen? Speaking of islands, he talked a lot about how animals go to their extinction on islands, and how the world was being broken up into islands. All the species were being, cut off from each other. So I wrote a book called Notes on Extinction. That was one of my last novels, and it had a guy in it that was writing a book on that. So I've been concerned about it for years and years and years, and haven't really gotten a chance to do anything until I met Kelvin. So I'm disturbed about all of it all the time, every day. I don't know about you guys, but it just watching garbage pile up bothers me.
Well, welcome, Janice.
Thank you.
I marvel at the universe, how we're all together. And Gaetano, please do say hello also.
Hello, everyone, and joined the group, I guess, a while back. So I'm happy to be here, and thank you for the invitation, Calvin, and look forward to some future Zooms.
Perfect. Gaetano did his little intro last September 24th. So this little intro and this little picture, it's like Life magazine, little perspectives, is going to wind its way up into social media. And I think we lost JL. And I want to thank you all for being here and being part of this. And we have a lot of work to do and to be continued. So thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you, Calvin.
Great.
Nice to meet you guys.
Same
You
here.
too. I think we're onto something great.
Well, I think we are, by the way. I think we really are. It's just gonna, I love the word evolution. And this group will evolve.
I love the name of our
energy.
group.
There's enough energy and there's enough spirit, and it's all about evolution, and there's no rules and guides. We just, the mission of education is what we're about. So anyway, thank you all. I guess you made my day.
Thank you, guys.
All right, be well.